What are your memories of Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage around this time period? What were they like?
You know, we were in this. You're in the locker room and you're in the territory, but I can speak for myself. We were so consumed with what we're doing with the various tag teams, we knew that they were in one of the matches earlier or later. But when we were involved in the that immediate atmosphere, I mean, we had very little contact. You'd say hello and how's things going, but we're talking with the Bulldogs or the Powers of Pain or whoever it is at that time, and you got to be focused on your match.
Right.
I think one thing that I was confused about is Randy didn't have his own identity. You know, Randy sort of tried to capture a little bit of whatever Hogan. If Hogan dressed a certain way, then Randy dressed a certain way. If Hogan wore a certain type of boot, then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, I mean, he was trying to be. You can't be Hogan. Hogan
right.
was the franchise. He could be Randy Savage and identify himself, but he tried, I think, by getting closer to him, maybe that was going to rub off. And it was a strange situation.
Yeah, but good guys.
Yeah. I mean, we never had a problem with it.
Yeah, they were good guys. I mean, you wanted to be on the same card as Hulk.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was
Like,
yeah.
geez, sold out. You know.
Well, we were just talking about that earlier. I mean, they sold a package deal at the time.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, in and out of the ring. How weird was he, or was he not weird?
I always got along.
Yeah, I knew Jim when he was just starting in. I was doing Mass Superstar in and out of Mid-South at the time, and he was there, I think, as the Blade Runners.
Right, Sting.
And the first time we bumped into him, he was sitting in the locker room, and he was just wanting the job, and he was sitting there. And I think he sat through the whole day, and nobody talked to him. Of course, Barry and I talked to him because I said, "What are you doing here?"
Right.
We start BSing a little bit, and then I think that happened for a couple TV tapings, and then next thing I know, he's working as the Intercontinental Champion. But
Yeah.
you know.
We were never any, the kind of guys that if there was a new guy, we wouldn't sit and talk to him,
Yeah.
introduce ourselves.
I mean, I never.
Some guys were pretty brutal. There's a new guy. He might be here to take my job
Well,
or
right.
whatever.
especially the way he looked. I mean,
Yeah.
Jim was an impressive guy.
Right.
Unbelievable.
And there was a couple guys that didn't know if he was a heel or babyface, and all of a sudden they're throwing barbs at somebody, and the same thing happened to us. They don't know if he's going to babyface or heel or take their job or somebody else's.
Right.
But as far as all of our dealings with him were good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he realized that when we worked with him, and we worked with him a few times, as tags, in 6-man tags or 8-man tags, we weren't there to guzzle him up. We were there to have a good match. And I think that he felt self-conscious that he wasn't as polished as he should have been. But that's not his fault.
They put him right in that
Jim
position.
went through a horrible situation. They put him in a situation he wasn't ready for. And it wasn't his fault that he wasn't ready for it. They just wanted to replace the other guy.
Right.
Now, at this time, what were your memories and thoughts on Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan was the greatest guy. You know,
Yeah.
he was one of the guys. We were top guys. Hulk was mega top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was all these top guys that were, in a level playing field, and then there was Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And you create the Ultimate Warrior, you create Randy Savage, you create all these guys who, were top guys above the other top guys, and then there was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And every one of them wanted to be as big as Hulk Hogan, but you just couldn't. I mean,
Yeah.
he was the man. And what a nice guy. You go down to Florida and he'd invite you to his house and go on his boat, and always treated me great.
Wow.
But I didn't treat him like he was, no different than you or Bill Eadie or Andy. He was just a good guy.
Right.
And I think that's why Andre liked me so much, because I didn't treat him like he was the giant. I treated him like he was one of the goofballs, that I hang around with,
Yeah. How about Randy Savage?
Randy was great.
Yeah.
Randy, a different kind of cat.
Yeah.
but a good guy. You know, when you were alone with him, he was a good-hearted person. Very jealous, you know, of Elizabeth, and you know, I think he knew that, you know, me and my wife were so close, and my kid. He never minded that I was around Elizabeth or anything. In fact, he probably was happy that I was watching her. You know? And but you know, and I haven't talked to Randy in so long. You know, I don't know how he took that when Elizabeth died.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has anybody talked to him about it?
I talked to him, but he doesn't really talk about that issue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he loved her.
Yeah, I did an interview with Lex, and we sent him the interview and stuff. And he doesn't blame Lex. That's what he told me. So.
How's Lex doing now?
He's a mess.
Well, there's a guy that never ever touched a drug or anything, and all of a sudden went wild, huh?
Yeah.
And I don't know that for sure, but that's from what I heard.
Yeah. It's been documented, so it's not like anybody's talking out of turn there, you know?
What a good guy.
What are your memories of a guy you actually wrestled quite a bit, at least in the six-man's Ultimate Warrior, in and out of the ring?
You know, I got along with him very well.
Did you?
Yeah, 'cause he trusted me, and I was always the guy in the match that wanted to make it a good match.
Yeah.
And I think he knew that. So we were pretty good friends. I went over to his house in Arizona a few times and, you know, rode with him and trained with him. And I don't think he trusted a lot of guys.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of guys didn't like him. But he couldn't work a lick when he first came in there. I mean, he still couldn't. But, you know, he did a really good job, you know, for, you know, the position they put him in and everything.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of heat. Because when he came in there and became the top guy, everybody else was going, well, what about me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I like him. He's a good guy.
And I guess for somebody like you, you could just sit back and watch the politics unfold because you guys are the top tag team. Nobody's coming after you guys.
And they could have taken the belts from us and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
We still were and the people knew that we were the top guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Memories of Jake in and out of the ring.
Jake the Snake?
Yeah.
I knew Jake back in Louisiana because his dad, Grizzly Smith, he was one of the guys that helped me out when I first got into business. And Jake used to come down and we had a great time. But Jake was definitely a character. I mean, if you were his friend, you didn't really know if you were his friend. Because one day you could be his best friend, the next minute he might leave you on the road or something, you know. But good guy.
Right.
You know, I love Jake. I haven't seen him in a long time, and I hope he's got his life straight and everything.
Jake is he's got a good mind for this business, and I don't think that the promoters took him as serious as they could have or should have because of his screw-ups. You know, he had some demons he was fighting, and I think he's probably still fighting them. I saw him a couple months ago, and he seemed to be a little bit better. But then I heard that...
Does he look the same?
No.
He looks old.
But I think part of his partying, part of his dabbling in prescription drugs or whatever he did, took a little bit of his credibility away. But it didn't take any of his workability away.
Well, I'll tell you,
Jake was a good worker.
He was a hell of a worker.
And
great at psychology.
Oh, good. And we were just talking today. That's what's missing today in this business: the psychology.
It's all spot.
Doing the moves and doing the spots and all the maneuvers. You can learn that, but you have to learn psychology. And there again, Jake has good psychology. Still yet, but I think that what hurt him was his credibility because you can't put all your eggs in the basket that you don't know if it's going to be broken or not.
When you guys were on the road full time, what was the drug use like?
We were, Bill and I and Fuji usually traveled alone by ourselves, so we were away from all that. And, the guys that would do drugs, they stuck together, and, we wouldn't hear about it, we didn't want to hear about it.
Well, one of the things that came up one time was, if you're taking drugs, you're paranoid. Right. That's one of the side effects. And we got ostracized because we didn't take drugs, so they thought we would squeal on them.
Right.
So the guys who would take drugs or do something like that, they didn't want to be around us because they felt uncomfortable. We didn't never made it. We're never judgmental. Hey, it's your life. But I know for myself, he can speak for himself, but I think I can speak for him too. This was a job. I was on the road. I was away from my family. I was trying to get as much money in my pocket as I possibly could. I was going to sleep good. We slept. We never scrimped on hotels. We stayed at good hotels,
Right.
ate good meals, and went to good gyms, and rode in rental cars that were good, comfortable cars. But the end result is, after 30 days, am I going to take money home and give it to my family to provide for them? Or am I going to do like a lot of guys, go home and nothing there?
Right.
So, by not being in that particular clique, we were looked at as different. Well, that was fine with me because I didn't want in that clique.
Huh.